What's up everybody, Watt007 here, and welcome back to a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links leak video. In today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links leak video, I'm going to be telling you guys everything you need to know about normal Carly Carmine coming to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. So if you guys are excited for today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video, as per usual, be sure to show your support by hitting that like button on the video down below, and subscribe to the channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links content. But of course, you can wait to like and subscribe until you watch the entire video. But without further ado, let's get into today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links leak video. Also, I heard that if you watch part 1 of Watt007's Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX Let's Play, I heard you get a prismatic card from the next pack that you open, but you didn't hear that from me, bro. So, non-Dark Signer Carly Carmine is going to be coming into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links in the middle of January, and she's going to introduce some new Fortune Fairy cards for us to farm for when she comes into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links as a roaming character. So, sadly, she's not going to be unlockable when she comes in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links in mid-January. In addition to that, in the upcoming updates for January, it also mentioned that in the announcement for normal Carly Carmine and Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, it did say a text right here. In addition, a certain character will tell your fortune this time around. Your fortune for today is ... which is very interesting because of the fact that there's also some stuff in the recent update that we got on Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links a couple days ago that also showcased this different Carly event, which we'll discuss later in today's video. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys all of the farmable card rewards that we're going to be able to farm for when Carly Carmine is roamable in middle of the January, and then we're going to do some speculation, and I'm going to show you guys some artwork for an event that is very interesting that we don't know much details about, but hopefully it'll give us gems, card rewards, etc. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to discuss about is the stuff that is confirmed for Carly when she comes into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links in the middle of January, and we're going to talk about all of her drop rewards that we're going to be able to farm for when she gets added into the game. And the first card we're going to talk about is Fortune Fairy HIKARI, which is a UR card that we can farm for. This card is a 1-star light spellcaster effect monster. When you draw this card, you can reveal this card, special summon it from your hand. If this card is special summoned from the hand, you can target one monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do special summon one spellcaster monster from your deck, you can use each effect of Fortune Fairy HIKARI once per turn. This card has 0 attack and 0 defense. Now, honestly, I'm not really too sure how I feel about Fortune Fairy HIKARI's effect, but one thing that you can do with this card is that when you do draw it during your, second, third, fourth turn, whatever turn it is, as long as it's not the very first turn where it's in your opening hand, you can activate its effect and special summon it from the hand. And I believe if I'm reading this card correctly, after you special summon this card, you can target a monster you control, send to the graveyard, and if you do special summon one level 1 spellcaster from your deck. So I think you can sacrifice Fortune Fairy HIKARI for triggering that effect that this card states, and you can do some weird stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links if you want to. You can summon Berry Magician Girl, you can summon into your Fortune Lady Light or Fortune Lady Pass if you want to combo it with your Fortune Ladies. But that's honestly the only things that I can really think of when it comes to a card like this. I don't really see too much value to this card, but there might be a hidden level 1 spellcaster monster that can really utilize HIKARI's effects to its full potential. But for now, I'm going to rest it and sleep on this card, and we're going to move on to the next card of today's video. Next card we're going to be taking a look at from normal Carly Carmine that you can farm for is DWIMMERED Path. This is a normal spell card. You can target one spellcaster effect monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You only can activate one DWIMMERED Path per turn. Honestly, this card is actually kind of neat because you can basically recycle your spellcaster cards, and if your spellcaster cards have a certain effect that gets activated when you need to normal summon it, it's actually pretty solid. So this card might be pretty good, might not. The only downside to it is that it won't special summon your spellcaster monster that you want to go for, but still it gives you some recyclability, and since it's a super generic card, you rock this in any of your spellcaster decks that wouldn't need to utilize effect like this, as long as the spellcaster is an effect monster, of course. So DWIMMERED Path seems cool. I don't know what broken combo you can use for something like this, but still pretty cool. Next card we're going to be taking a look at is a continuous spell card called Miracle Stone. All spellcaster monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense for each Fortune Fairy monster you control with a different name. Once per turn, when an attack is declared involving your Fortune Fairy monster, you can draw one card. You only can control one Miracle Stone. Now, Miracle Stone is a very important card for Fortune Fairies because honestly, Fortune Fairies are definitely lacking in the attack and defense department. Every single Fortune Fairy card, from what I know, have 0 attack and 0 defense. So you're going to want to use a card like Miracle Stone to really give them cards a boost. And honestly, the thing is with Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links though is that since we only have 3 monster zones, the maximum amount of attack you're going to be able to give to all your Fortune Fairy cards is only 1500 attack thanks to Miracle Stone. So there you go right there. But hey, once per turn when an attack is declared involving your Fortune Fairy monster, you can't get the draw cards, so you can go and see your other combos of Fortune Fairies, which is very epic. The only downside is though, at least from what we see so far when it comes to the leaks, there is no other Fortune Fairy cards that we can farm for except for one other card. A lot of the Fortune Fairy attributes that are not farmable yet, I don't know if they're going to be farmable or not. I hope that they are, because the banner in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links for Carly's roaming event does showcase every single Fortune Fairy monster. So I'm hoping that they are all farmable, but currently from what the leaks are confirming so far, the Fire, Water, Wind, and I believe Dark Fortune Fairy monsters are not farmable yet. So we'll have to wait and see until the event officially comes out, but from what at least we know, those 4 Fortune Fairy monsters are not farmable, but at the same time the banner, her roaming banner, shows them, so maybe it's exclusive to her deck. I don't really know what they're doing with her event. They're kind of doing some crazy stuff over at Konami headquarters. So for now, Miracle Stone's only going to give your Fortune Fairy monsters a maximum of 1,000 attack if they don't give us the other attribute ones. Because spoiler alert, the next Fortune Fairy card we're going to be taking a look at is Fortune Fairy CHEE, so let's go talk about it. Fortune Fairy CHEE is an Earth, level 6 spellcaster effect monster that is a rare card that you can farm for from Carly Carmine. When you draw this card, you can reveal this card, special summon it from your hand. If this card is special summoned from the hand, you can activate this effect. Each player draws 1 card. You only can activate each effect of Fortune Fairy CHEE once per turn. Honestly, the only good thing about this is the fact that it's another Fortune Fairy monster to combo with the other Fortune Fairy support that we have in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, but I still don't like this card that much because you make both players be able to draw a card, which is kind of like, I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe you could tech this in an Exodia deck if you really want to. Go ahead if you guys want to Unga Boonga it up with Fortune Fairy CHEE, so there you go. Next card we're going to be taking a look at is some Spellbook support, which is interesting, always welcome in my opinion. Hermit of Prophecy is a level 3 Earth spellcaster effect monster. Each time a Spellbook card is activated, increase this card's level by 2 and attack by 300. This card has 1200 attack and 700 defense, and yeah, it is a rare card that you can farm for from Carly Carmine. This is nothing good for Spellbooks. I don't think the top tier Spellbook decks are going to run a card like this, but I mean, hey, at least its bonus attack that you get for Hermit of Prophecy is permanent, so maybe if anybody's like a free-to-play player or a budget player, maybe tech in this card if you don't have any of the other good UR Spellbook cards, because at least its level and attack points don't get reduced by the end of the turn. It is a permanent effect with Hermit of Prophecy, so when you are doing your Spellbook combo going into Spellbook of Fate, you can boost this card's attack by a lot. So I might debate on trying this card out when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, just to see if it's any good, or like see if it's like usable, because there's better options in this card, but I don't think that this card is the worst card in the world, so it'll be fun to try on Spellbooks when this card comes into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. So Hermit of Prophecy, you're a solid rare card. So the last farmable card that's currently confirmed for Carly Carmine is Spellbook Star Hall. This is a continuous spell card. Each time a Spellbook card is activated, you can place 1 spell counter on this card. All spellcaster type monsters you control gain 100 attack for each spell counter on this card. When this card with spell counters is destroyed and sent in the graveyard, you can add a spellcaster type monster from your deck to your hand whose level is less than or equal to the number of spell counters that are on this card. Now, this card is cool and all, but let's be real here, it is a very slow card. It's reliant on you activating a bunch of spellbook cards, and then it needs to get destroyed, and spellbooks is not the type of deck that really destroys their own cards. The purpose of the deck, at least in Duel Links, is to banish your opponent's cards with Spellbook of Fate and then go for direct attacks with Silent Magician or whatnot. So I don't think this card's going to see really any play, because your opponent just won't destroy it if they don't need to, so then they can't worry about you adding the card from your deck to your hand. And besides, it doesn't even summon the spellcaster monster. It adds it to the hand. It doesn't even special summon anything. So it's a rare card for the reason. It's a cool card, but it's a rare card for the reason, and I don't think it's going to see play in the Spellbook deck. I feel like the other card that we just talked about in the video has a higher potential to be played in Spellbooks compared to this card, in my opinion. So the rest of the cards I'm going to talk about in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links League video are most likely just going to be cards that are either going to be level up rewards for normal Carly Carmine if we ever get her unlockable in 2020, or these are going to be cards that are going to be exclusive to her NPC deck that we're going to face against when we're trying to farm the character. So let's get into it. The first card we're going to take a look at is Fortune Fairy End. This is a 2-star fire spellcaster effect monster. When you draw this card, you can reveal it, special summon it from your hand. If this card is special summoned from the hand, you can target a set card your opponent controls, destroy. You only can use the effect of Fortune Fairy End once per turn. And yeah, destroying your opponent's set spell and trap cards is always a good effect, and of course this card has the same effect as the rest of the Fortune Fairy monsters where you can special summon it from the hand, so that's very cool right there. We got some archetype synergy. Next up we have Fortune Fairy Ooh, the 3-star wind spellcaster effect monster. When you draw this card, reveal it, special summon it from your hand. If this card is special summoned from the hand, you can target one of your banished spellcaster type monsters, add it to the hand. You only can use each effect of Fortune Fairy Ooh once per turn. 0 attack and defense. its effect where you can target one of your banished spellcaster monsters is kind of like whatever to me. What's actually interesting too is that the Fortune Lady Wind was the card that was able to destroy back row, which is interesting that this one doesn't destroy back row, but then the previous Fortune Fairy monster that we talked about just now destroys back row. So that's something interesting to think about. But yeah, this one just targets one of your banished spellcaster monsters. Adds to the hand. Okay. Next card we're going to take a look at is Fortune Fairy SWEE. This is a 4-star water spellcaster effect monster. When you draw this card, you can reveal it, special summon it from your hand. If this card is special summoned from the hand, you can target one other face-up monster on the field, banish it until the standby phase of your next turn. You only can use each effect of Fortune Fairy SWEE once per turn. Again, 0 attack and defense. Maybe if this card becomes lockable in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, we could try it out in a Metaphys deck or something like that. Other than that, another card that I'm going to Resident Sleep on, but I will say it's better than the Wind one that we talked about just now. Next up, we have Fortune Fairy An In. I don't know how to pronounce any of these words, but it's a 5-star dark spellcaster effect monster. When you draw this card, reveal it, special summon it from your hand. If this card is special summoned from the hand, you can banish the spellcaster type monster from your deck. You only can use each effect of Fortune Fairy and once per turn. So I guess you can combo this with the other Fortune Fairy monster or the Wind Fortune Fairy monster. You use this Fortune Fairy right here to banish one of your spellcaster monsters, and then you use the Wind Fortune Fairy to then add it to your hand. So I guess you could do that. No point, in my opinion, to do that in the first place, but there you go. It's an option nonetheless. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at the quick play spell card Unacceptable Result. If you control a spellcaster type monster, special summon one Fortune Fairy monster from your hand. So of course your other Fortune Fairy monsters are also spellcaster types, so if you have one of them face on the field, you can activate Unacceptable Result, special summon that Fortune Fairy monster, trigger its effect, and combo it with some of the other cards to boost its attack or whatnot. So there you go. Cool card for the archetype, I guess. Next card we're going to take a look at is a normal spell card called Lucky Loan. Target one Fortune Fairy monster you control, special summon one spellcaster type monster from your hand or deck whose original level is one lower than the monsters. Also during your next turn after this card resolves, you cannot normal or special summon monsters except spellcaster type monsters. You only can activate one Lucky Loan per turn. So of course this works well with the Fortune Fairy deck, because if you have one of your level 4 Fortune Fairies, you can trigger this card to special summon one of your level 3 Fortune Fairies from your deck onto the field. Maybe though, if this card ever becomes unlockable in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, we could potentially use this in some other decks that can utilize its effect to special summon spellcaster monsters from the deck onto the field, depending on which Fortune Fairy you have. I feel like it's a clunky combo, so I doubt anybody is going to try to do it, but it's still something to think about. Now here's some discussion for today's video. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, we have a roaming event for Carly Carmine. We have this banner right here that shows all the Fortune Fairy monsters, and then of course we have another banner that just shows that Carly is going to be roamable and we can farm for HIKARI and stuff like that. So we have two different banners in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and the banner that we're probably going to be seeing is just this one that I have on the screen right now, where it shows Fortune Fairy HIKARI plus Carly, but then there's this other one here that also showcases Carly Carmine with all of her Fortune Fairies. So maybe this second one is going to be her unlock event if we ever get that in 2020, and then the first one that I talked about is her roaming event. And then we have another banner called Carly's Fortune Telling, and I have a feeling that this is going to be very similar to some of the other like events that we have in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. As you guys know, periodically in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, there's like these bonus events in a sense, like the Pet Kribo event, the Mission Circuit event, the Duelist Challenges event, the Bingo Challenge event, whatever that one is called. And there's all these like extra events, and I have a feeling that this Carly's Fortune Telling event is going to be like those other events, where it's just a bonus event alongside of just playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. And we're not too sure what it is so far, but what it clearly is that it's going to be related to Carly's Fortune Telling stuff, because before Carly became a Dark Signer, she used her Fortune Fairies to basically tell her own fortune and other people's fortunes, and due to that, it had certain effects in the show and all that stuff. So I'm guessing Duel Links is going to be incorporating something like this, because we actually have graphics for a little slideshow. We actually have graphics for all of the different Fortune Fairy monsters, so we're probably going to see like a slideshow of some sorts telling our fortune. And I'm going to guess that this thing is going to be some RNG event that we can get some bonus gems, SR tickets, UR tickets, something along those lines. That's what everybody's kind of theorizing on what this bonus event is going to be, and it's going to probably be very similar to all those other bonus events that we have in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, where it's just something on the side that you'll do when you like log into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links or something like that. You get to begin your day in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links with the Carly's Fortune Telling, maybe get like 25 gems or something like that, and then move on with your day. So that's probably what this event is going to be for. I have a feeling that this is actually going to showcase during the roaming event for Carly Carmine, because in the middle of January like announcement in the upcoming updates, it also mentioned that you're going to be getting a fortune from a different character, or like from a character, a new one, and I'm guessing that they're going to introduce this Fortune Telling event alongside of Carly's roaming event when we get it in the middle of January. That's That's my hope, at least, especially because they're already adding all the graphics and designs for this event in this previous update anyways. So I'm going to assume that it's going to be coming very soon to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. So I look forward to that, and hopefully we can get some extra gems, because as most of you guys know, we're going to be there's going to be a gem drought again, because we got a selection box coming soon. We got a structure deck coming soon. We'll probably get a mini box in a couple weeks. Oh boy, it's going to be scary, that's for sure. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. If you guys enjoyed it and you have not already and you're watching to the end of this video, be sure to go hit that like button on the video down below, and also subscribe to the channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll go see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Off in a cycle repeat. A lie. How many chasing their dreams? A lie. How many of us give up cause we taking the failure as if it's defeat? A lie. How many of us is weak? A lie. How many of us is scared? A lie. How many of us don't understand that we got somebody who really cares? A lie.